Will Horizon Zero Dawn and other huge PlayStation 4 exclusives come to PC as well? I mean, PlayStation now announced that PS4 games will be coming to the service in 2017. Here to discuss with me is, of course, Zach Sharps. Hey, man.
Well, hello there. You're growing quite a bit, sir. Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we are almost at 8,000. It's funny because we started recording when I had like 200 subscribers.
Yep.
And we also made videos for your channel, and now we're almost on the same level.
Yep.
That said, you just kinda went and do other things,
Yeah,
right?
we started doing things together when I kind of was on the way out of not doing my personal channel, so I kind of just transferred over.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I'm really happy that you are here to discuss awesome stuff. I mean, in the year, I think I just want to look up. I will not do it now, but the first video we did, because I think it's around this time, right?
Yeah.
We met during the JackX event in March, I think it was, or February.
Yep, around that time.
Awesome, and now we're here discussing one of the biggest announcements of 2017. But it's pretty huge. It's of course the PlayStation Now, the streaming service from PlayStation. They bought Gaikai, that streaming service like OnLive, where you could just buy some sort of subscription and stream games. Wasn't really going really well because not a lot of huge games were on the service, so they thought, interesting technology. We don't have backwards compatibility on our PS4 system, so we still want people to experience PS3 games. Let's do it in this way, because now you can just buy a subscription, play all the games you see there with one press of the button. You of course need a good internet connection, but still it works pretty well. I tried it. I played some Resistance 3 on my PS4. Happy about that, of course, with the PS4 controller, so that's pretty awesome. But now it's expanding further. It's getting way more interesting because apart from it being on the PS4, it is also on the PC. And for example, Red Dead Redemption is really interesting because that was a console-only game, but with this service you can also play it on PC. And now PlayStation 4 exclusives, games probably like Killzone, just the early exclusives, and maybe down the line Horizon Zero Dawn will be playable on the PC. So it's pretty huge news, right?
Yeah, it's certainly huge news. A long while back, we discussed the possibility of this happening eventually, and it's been really good and on a technical, scale. I mean, if you tried out the trial, you have a decent internet connection, you're pretty much playing at 1080p. However, like it's whatever its native resolution is, whatever its native frame rate is, and it's pretty solid. I mean, I tried it out when it was in its infancy and had a few hitches here and there, but it was nothing that I thought, oh, this is going to persist as they, develop it further. And that's just the power of Gaikai. And so now that they're expanding on it and bringing forth PlayStation 4 games, and I'm very curious if we will see a Killzone, if we will see, Knack, or if we will see eventually down the line, something like a Bloodborne, how long of a gap are we going to see between release date and PlayStation Now? It's going to be really cool to see how that sort of develops, because Sony is making a play here. Sure, there's the Xbox Game Pass, but that's not streaming, that's downloading, and it's also...
All the Xbox games are already on PC, like
exactly,
a lot of them. Except for Halo then, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's in the PC Pass then.
No, there's Halo 5 Forge mode, so they might be bringing Halo 6 over. But it's one of those things where I mean, Xbox is already doing stuff on PC, but there's not really a lot to offer there. Where Sony, as of late, has been pumping out a lot of games that have been getting critically rated well, and so that has a lot of appeal. And because they're sort of the behemoths of the console war at the moment, it definitely lends them more power in terms of pumping out a lot of games and also influencing other sides of the war, which they're not really directly competing with the PC. It's kind of hard to, but they are certainly trying to gain influence on that platform. That way they can build their own platform and their own sort of reputation and make a lot of money by doing so.
Yeah, exactly. It will be interesting. You already discussed like what games can we see, and down the line maybe a Bloodborne, because I think for one, they will not like do Horizon right out of the bat because they're going to sell a lot of PlayStation 4s on that game. Uncharted 4 will also be way off. But we already discussed this, on Skype. Like, maybe The Last of Us Remastered will be there at launch because The Last of Us is already on PS3. The launch games, Knack, Killzone Shadowfall, maybe Infamous Second Son that released a few months later. So that is still pretty huge because this is the first time that you can then play PS4 exclusive games on the PC as well. But I think that Sony has to do big games like this, maybe even Until Dawn, or Bloodborne will be really huge because there are like two things. One, they need to push PlayStation Now. I mean, they invested so much money in Gaikai, and we don't hear a lot about PlayStation Now and how it's doing and stuff like that. With Red Dead Redemption, they probably saw a little. I think you tried Red Dead Redemption as well, right?
I was going to, but I never got around to it.
Okay, but still, it gained interest. Like, they need more stuff like this. They need more, stuff that will make PC players interested in this service. I think that there's really an audience there, and of course, they could not play these games. So, that's also pretty huge. So I think that they will come out of the gate with some pretty big games. And for example, if they do Bloodborne, if they do Horizon, when Horizon 2 is coming out like in a few months, and then they put Horizon Zero Dawn on this service, PC players and PS4 players that haven't got around to playing Horizon Zero Dawn, shame on you, they are going to play it and think, whoa, the new one looks pretty interesting as well. PC players will then maybe go and buy out a PS4 or PS5 or whatever the platform will be. But they're getting interested. I think that Bloodborne is maybe a better example of this happening sooner because I think Bloodborne 2 is in development, that they will just release Bloodborne on PlayStation Now. Everyone is going to play it, and then PC players think, I kind of want the new game as well, and then they jump over. So it's a really smart move, and it's going to be interesting to see what games will be there. But I think that it's a safe bet that the early PlayStation exclusives will be there, but also like other games. I don't think, for example, that it will be a Destiny or something like that, because that is of course also console exclusive. But first party will be there. But you, on the other hand, have to think like, will for example a Ubisoft or an EA join this, because EA of course has their own EA access. Ubisoft has Uplay on the PC, so if they give their games to PlayStation Now as well, then people will maybe not go to Uplay, they will just get a PS Now subscription instead. Maybe they're releasing this new multiplayer game, Drawn to Death, on the PlayStation 4 as well in April, and maybe they will introduce this on the PlayStation Now service as well, because then PC players can also come in and join, and they have like a better multiplayer infrastructure because more people are playing. You'll get a lobby sooner and stuff like that. They can also be looking at that. So it's when
it really comes down to it, I mean, I know some people who own a PS4 right now may sort of see this as a bad thing, but when it really comes down to it, as long as they're keeping it within the PlayStation ecosystem, you really shouldn't care, because all that means is they're gaining more money, which allows them to create more of their exclusives. And as much as I, as a PC player, would rather have the native game on my system and not streaming it, I still see this as a step in the right direction for them, because I honestly don't like exclusives that much, and so seeing this is a good thing for me. But I could definitely see from a console player's perspective, looking at like say the Xbox, and it's like, oh well, everything's on the PC and also on the Xbox, so they really don't have exclusives now, do they? And I get that. And with PlayStation Now, that's not really the case, because it's in their ecosystem. You're basically just sort of emulating a PlayStation 4 in essence, because you have to stream it from the cloud and basically process it on your machine and all that stuff. So it's a really good way to get people into these IPs that maybe wouldn't have bought a PlayStation 4, because it is pretty asinine to ask someone to spend $400 to play like 1 or 2 games. And so I think that Sony sees this and they're like, okay, well, we have a pretty decent sized library. Maybe if we throw some exclusives at PC people, maybe they'll, get our service, maybe stay subscribed to our service and really thoroughly enjoy our service, because the experience that you get from PlayStation Now is pretty good. It's not bad. It's what you would expect from a sort of a 1080p, like 30 frames or 60 frames per second stream. And sure, that's maybe not the most amazing, breathtaking experience ever, but you basically play it and you're like, okay, well, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And it's much better than going out and having to spend, a couple $100, $300, $400, depending on which PS4 you get, to play said game, when that's the only game you're really gonna, play. Instead, you just toss them. I think it's like, what, $15, $20 for the month or whatever. Or you do the 7-day free trial, or you subscribe for a year, and there you go. You got a big library to play, including games like Red Dead Redemption, and also whatever they end up putting on the platform that's from the PS4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to follow this, and when they will, they announced like that it's live. Like when will this happen? Because they're now first doing some sort of beta period, and then we will be able to test it for ourselves. And like you said, the free trial is a nice way to do it. I think it's awesome to see. It's just pretty big that Sony is letting you play PS4 games on the PC. That's just a new step, and not just I mean, it's pretty beneficial for them, because they are not releasing all their PS4 games like Microsoft is doing, but they're gonna pick and choose, and you still have to pay them. It's this like monthly subscription. It's 17 euros, so probably $17, $15, something like that. It's like a profit for them. They really want more. Like they can really get they get a lot of profit from that. And it's also a lot of games that are already profitable. So it's just put them on there, right? Like an Infamous, already profitable. The last Killzone game, already profitable.
If they set up a precedent, like, okay, well, we'll release this like a year or two after on PlayStation Now, then there's really no issue with that at all. That wouldn't harm anyone who maybe wants to buy the console to play those games earlier. But people on PC, you might be like, oh, right, well, I'll just wait however long and just play it on PlayStation Now whenever it comes out. It's a good thing all around, really.
Yeah, we will follow this. Maybe if they will release like any numbers when this shit is going to blow up or something like that, or when we try it ourselves, we will make a new video. Until then, let us know what you think about PS4 exclusives now on PSC, like kinda, with the PlayStation Now service. Let us know in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, subscribe for way more gaming discussions, and Zach, thanks. We will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.